Good afternoon, right here on 90.3 FM. It's the Wednesday edition of Joe Steckler Helping Seniors of Brevard. I'm John Harper. Joe Steckler is on assignment for today, and in Joe's place we have Kerry Fink. Hi, Kerry. How are you?
Doing good, and it's good to be here, and we're looking forward to a good show with the Helping Seniors radio program, and so excited that we have another person who is with us today on the radio who has been a long time friend of Joe's and the Helping Seniors organization, and that's Jennifer Helin with Seniors Helping Seniors of Brevard. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi, Kerry. It's nice to be here.
So I guess we were joking before the show. Since Joe has turned over the radio reins to us this week, it takes three of us to fill the seat that Joe would normally occupy here. So I'm glad to have you guys both here on the radio, John Harper and Jennifer Helin, because really there's so much that we can talk about. And you guys have been involved with helping seniors literally almost from the get-go. And John, in your case, I think you helped Joe get started in radio. I know we've talked before that Joe has been the longest running talk show radio host here along the Space Coast.
That's correct, Kerry, and Joe is the longest running talk show host here in the Space Coast. I've told this story many times, but it bears repeating. It's a good story. When I first started WMEL radio, I can remember one hot summer afternoon. We were not on the air yet, and I was the only one in the building, and I was painting the walls. And this gentleman walks in and introduced himself to me and told me his name was Joe Steckler. He was retired from the Navy, and he was there trying to get some publicity for, at the time, the organization that he was executive director of, and that was the Alzheimer's Foundation. Mm-hmm. And when I told Joe, when he asked, well, can I talk to whoever's in charge? And I said, well, I'm in charge. And I had a paintbrush in my hand. I was covered from head to toe in paint. And I think Joe wasn't at first too sure about who I was or what I was. But nonetheless, following that, we've been friends for a long time now, well over 25 years, and happy to help out Joe whenever and wherever we can. And I might also add, and Jennifer, I don't know if you were in on that very first meeting we had with Helping Seniors of Brevard. We're over in an office off of Hibiscus. Were you in on that meeting?
No, I wasn't.
Well, I can remember when Joe first started and he started to lay out the plans for the organization well over 10 years ago now. And I think Joe is pleasantly surprised, or I guess I shouldn't say surprised, but pleased would be a better word, with the progress that the organization has made. Maybe surprised too. And nonetheless, we're moving forward. We've got a lot of things that are happening with the organization. And of course, the car raffle is something that I know Kerry and Jennifer, we want to get into in just a moment. But maybe it might be a good idea, Kerry or Jennifer, if one of you wants to take this, as far as Helping Seniors of Brevard, what exactly, for somebody just tuning in right now that is not aware of Helping Seniors of Brevard, what's the organization all about?
Well, I'll jump in with this one because I think what is so important, and if you think about it, Joe has been probably one of, if not the most best senior advocates that the Space Coast has ever had the chance to have that kind of friendship with. Joe, of course, as you mentioned, was the impetus behind getting everything going with the Brevard Alzheimer's Foundation. They named the clubs that he was so instrumental in creating, those senior daycare centers. They call them Joe's Clubs for the reason of honoring the fact that he was the one that brought all that to the table. And then I remember when I first met Joe, and he was saying, he said, I think I've completed the work that I need to do on that front. That is up and running. But he said, what I've discovered along the way is that seniors have issues that go far beyond those related specifically to memory. He said there are so many things that seniors need that they don't get the help that they need with, and there's not really an organization that is dedicated to advocating for them. And he said, that's why I want to create Helping Seniors of Brevard, and I want to do it so that we can actually be helping seniors when their issues go beyond memory care and the things that the Alzheimer's Foundation might be a resource for. And so if you guys both remember, as it started out, the first thing that Joe established was the Brevard Senior Information Helpline. And I'll give that number so everybody can grab a pencil and jot this one down. It's 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770. And Joe established that number because he wanted seniors to be able to make an inbound call and get more than a referral. So in other words, not that we don't have some good resources where people can call up and say, hey, I need a phone number for this thing or that thing. But a lot of times what Joe discovered was people have more than a simple question, and it actually turns into a case. And Jennifer, I kind of wanted to turn it over to you because in the work that you do in Seniors Helping Seniors, you're very familiar with what I'm talking about on the types of calls that we get on that Senior Information Helpline.
Yes. And I started with helping seniors a little after a year after the organization was started. And going back to that time, I had started Seniors Helping Seniors, and we did have a senior helpline in the county that was eliminated. And so people were calling my office thinking we were the senior helpline and asking for all sorts of different problems, different referrals, looking for sources of information. And so when I found out about Joe and helping seniors, I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what is needed because people are not getting the information they need. And we still do get a lot of those phone calls, and I work closely with Kim in our Helping Seniors office in trying to find and manage the right resources for our seniors that call in. I think it's such a big part of what we do at Helping Seniors is taking those phone calls from seniors, and they really range with different needs, different situations that arise. And you're right, not just handing them a phone number, but kind of diving down in to see exactly what's going on, how we can be helpful. And often it's not just one or the original specific thing that they were calling about. We often help with a number of different issues, and it's more than one phone call. We call back and make sure that they've gotten the help that they've needed. So it's almost case management.
You know, Jennifer, I was going to add to that and say, you know, now that the organization is getting into its 10th year of service, the statistics are telling us that we've helped more than 3,000 families. And I mean, we're talking about a lot of in-depth communications with these families over the course of that time. And all that has been done free of charge because Helping Seniors, as both you and John Harper know, is a 501c3, which means we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping seniors along the way. And what I wanted to bring up about talking about the fact that we've helped these families is, you know, you've seen it because you understand it from being helping on the call. I've seen Joe really sort out some thorny situations for seniors, as has Kim, and they are very I guess I would say skillful and nimble at figuring out the right approach to a particular situation. Sometimes, as you know, it's transportation, sometimes it's housing, sometimes it's medical, sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's financial, sometimes it has to do with just the different needs, like literally home improvements and things like that. It's fascinating to me about the variety of calls that we get. And that probably is also kind of a dovetail back to you, Jennifer, because I know when you have Seniors Helping Seniors, whereas your organization as a business is there to help get seniors help at home, you deal with a wide range of calls as well, right?
We do. And I think that really helps because we've got that knowledge. We've been in business 12 years or 8 years now. going back to 12. Lately, it feels like 12. But having that background and knowing the different people within our industry, I think really helps. And Kim has gotten to know people, and Joe knows everyone. So having those connections and being able to not only connect people with the right resource, but the exact person that they need to talk to, and having knowledge of how the system works in different areas really is helpful, because we're able to put people together. It's not just a general referral. It's a very specific, we're meeting that very specific need.
I was thinking about how many calls, because we have a system, we have a pretty robust phone system that as calls come in, if they come in, say after hours or something like that, messages are rotated so Joe knows what's going on, and he's able to hear a situation that comes in for Kim to respond to, and oftentimes is able to help Kim. Like, here's the right place we call, or here's the right step. And it's amazing, because while one of us might just start looking online and maybe come up with a number, and then we get into this massive voicemail menu that says press 1 if you're calling about this, press 2 if you're calling for that, press 3 if you want to hear this message in Spanish, and all those kind of things that we've learned to live with in voicemail. Joe and Kim have developed a resource book over the years where they know exactly how to maybe go to the second or third tier and skip all of that and really get a problem solved.
Exactly. So we're able to, we had a lady a couple of months ago, and I think we might have talked about this before, that she really needed a victim's advocate for the state attorney's office. And we were able to call there through our contacts, get a hold of one of the ladies that we know, and put them in touch together so that she could help her through, what she was dealing with. And having those contacts, being able to put them directly, so she didn't have to just pick up the phone and hope for the best. She was able to talk to a person directly and know that that person already knew what her problem was and could kind of pick it up and run with it. That's huge. It's almost like when you have a doctor in the family. You call and ask questions, and then you kind of know what to do. You've got an in. And calling, helping seniors, you already have that in.
I think that's so important what you're saying. There used to be, I grew up in Atlanta, and there used to be a jewelry dealer who talked about diamonds on the radio. And he always said, now you have a friend in the jewelry business, because he would try to make his commercials to explain to you how to pick out the correct diamond for your diamond ring or things like that. And I've always laughed at that tagline, because I think that's really the story of helping seniors. Now you have a friend who can help you navigate the senior business. And Joe has often talked, as you guys both know, he's been a strong advocate that each of us needs to create a senior aging plan for our own situation. I like to get on the soapbox and say, look, when we were in elementary school, they talked to us about, what's your plan for your life? What do you want to be when you grow up? What is your career going to be? What kind of work do you want to do? And they would make us think about that when we were younger. Then, as we were entering the workforce, or maybe coming out of school or whatever, then they would start talking to us, well, what's your plan? Are you going to buy a house? Are you going to save for your retirement? Are you going to plan for your children's college? And then they say you have to get your plan together for this. And then they say you even have to plan for your retirement. But as we've talked about various times, when you get to the point of retirement, Joe has been the advocate that says, now, is anybody talking to you about an aging plan? How you want things to go if you run into unforeseen obstacles or things along the way. And so he's been very strong about this idea that everybody needs to get an aging plan together, so you can navigate the road in front of you, even if you don't know every twist and turn along the way. And that's why I wanted to kind of pivot and talk a little bit, John Harper, into the second part, or the second aspect of what we do with helping seniors, which is all about just what we're doing now. As an example, we do the radio show. Joe does radio every week. He's been going on radio with you for 20 plus years. And the value of getting this information out to people, John, would Would you talk a little bit about that part of it?
Well, I think, Kerry, as you've kind of alluded to here, the show that Joe has done every week now for the past many years, the Helping Seniors of Brevard show, is one of its kind. There really is no one else in the nation doing this type of a show. Yes, there are a couple of shows that I read in the trades called Grain of America or something like that. But Joe's show, this show that we're on right now, addresses specifically the problems, wants, and needs of our aging community here on the Space Coast of Florida and within the sound of our voice, including in the Vero Beach area and down to Port St. Lucie. So it provides a key outlet to getting that information out, in addition to the other venues, the other media that we have at our access as well on a weekly basis, whether it be on television, in print, and here we are on radio. So several different mediums that are able to be presented on a weekly basis to ensure that this very active and very populated senior community is kept in touch and knows that they have some place to turn to where they've got a ombudsman, a friend, someone who can help them out in a time of need, especially with some of the difficult questions and situations that we as a country and a world are actually going through right now, Kerry and Jennifer. And I know at the moment with the COVID-19 taking its toll on nonprofits, there's no stimulus for nonprofits right now, but the need is still there. And I think we probably want to address that maybe in the second portion of the show after we break for the bottom of the hour with a weather update. But a very critical time, I think, crossroads that we're approaching very quickly. It's almost like it's out of control, and we as a not-for-profit, nonprofit organization are going to have to really come up with some creative ways and means to make sure that we're able to continue providing the support to those in our community who need our support and help. Kerry?
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is so correct, and that's one of the reasons Joe has been so aggressive about making sure that the senior voice is heard on across really all mediums. You know, Joe, I remember when I first met Joe, we owned a TV station building, and he wandered in and he said, listen, he said, I'm trying to get established with the Helping Seniors organization. I'm just getting this off the ground, and I want to do the same thing that I used to do with the Brevard Alzheimer's Association Foundation, because I want to get this information out on television. I want to get this out on radio. I want to get this out in print. And you know, you can't pick up a newspaper in this county without seeing Joe's column in there. I was noting that he's in Senior Scene magazine. He's been in Florida Today over the years. He's been in Spotlight magazine over the years. Every month he's in the Al Dia Today publication, the Spanish-speaking publication in our community, the Ebony News Today publication, Barefoot Tattler. I mean, the list goes on. And Joe is in Hometown News. Let me not even forget about every other week. Joe brings his column to the Hometown News, and that's 60,000 copies going out around the county. They do actually different editions depending on where in the county you live. But Joe is carried in all 5 editions every other week when that comes out, and it's all part of Joe's, I guess, his vision to make sure that seniors get information, because we live in a county that is 70 miles, I like to say it's 70 miles north to south. So people in Titusville rarely travel down to Palm Bay or vice versa unless it's some big thing. So we really need to get information pushed into every corner of the county. And that's one of the great things actually about the radio being on this 30,000 watt WEJF radio station. It really, at 90.3, it really blankets up and down the Space Coast. So we're real fortunate to have a really good signal to reach people throughout the area, John.
Absolutely, Kerry. In fact, speaking of the signal, I was listening to our station on the border between Brevard and Volusia County the other day, and we were coming in loud and clear. And I know, as I mentioned a few moments ago, we go all the way down to Vero Beach and Fort Pierce and parts of Port St. Lucie as well. So we cover a wide area where there are so many seniors that need our help, need the information that we're able to provide. And that's why we are very much in need of the help of our listeners and supporters to help us out in this time of need, this crisis that we are all enduring with the COVID-19 virus. And so I think, Kerry, that's something that perhaps when we come back from the break, we can talk about in the next segment. I know the car auction is something that we've been planning for quite some time, and unfortunately, due to the COVID virus, the COVID-19 virus, we've had to put that off, and hopefully we're going to be able to start that up again. Maybe we should use the Rolling Stones song of "Start It Up" as a background to that. That might be rather appropriate, but nonetheless, we're definitely going to be doing that. And tickets, even though we're on hold, we're in park, so to speak. Tickets are still available, and we want to be able to get that information out to all of the folks here when we continue in just a few minutes, Kerry. We've got about 3 minutes, Kerry, before we wrap things up here for this half hour. So any other thoughts from you or Jennifer?
Yeah, I'm looking forward in the second half of the show, really want us to turn into two areas that are very important for what Helping Seniors also does. Number one is the advocacy area. And so we're definitely going to spend some time talking about advocacy, which is really the third leg of the Helping Seniors stool, if you will, because the first leg, of course, is the information helpline. And Kim Bernard is available literally, right? She's taking calls even while we're on the radio today at 321-473-7770. That number again, 321-473-7770. And then we spent some time talking about the second aspect of Helping Seniors, which is the media outreach. And when we come back, we'll be talking about the Helping Seniors updates, which is also our specific response to COVID-19, because we're able to get a lot of information from a lot of places. And I heard we actually did a Helping Seniors update yesterday with John Frederickson, the publisher of Senior Scene, and he brought out the fact that he said, you know, he's careful about how much news he ingests because he wants it to be the right kind of news that actually can be helpful to him. And so when we do the updates, we don't talk about the things that you might get on national news, but we do talk about what services and tips and things that are going to help us together navigate this COVID-19 thing here in Brevard County. And Jennifer, you've helped us with that too. So I didn't know if you had a quick comment before we go to break.
Well, I think there's, we've been doing this for a number of weeks now, but I think that, maybe when we come back from break, we can talk about a few of the resources that we've been able to pass on to folks that have been really helpful. And just to talk in general about the virus and how Brevard County is responding to it, and maybe hopefully what we can look forward to in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think there is so much good that is happening in the county right now. I am just personally impressed to see how the heroes on the front lines are really doing the job. And I'm not only talking about those who are first responders or those who are in the medical system directly, but I'm talking about just the people that we've been blessed to know who are taking care of seniors in various ways, like Jennifer Helin's Seniors Helping Seniors, John, like you do with the radio, and everything, all your efforts, both up front and behind the scenes to keep it all moving forward. But I see it as a common theme. Everybody that we've been connected to, I've really been impressed how they've risen to this occasion. John, what do you think?
Well, I think so too, Kerry. You're absolutely right. And it's through a group of dedicated people that we have in the Helping Seniors of Brevard organization that's making that happen. But right now we're going to take time out for a break. We're going to get an update on weather, then back with more of Helping Seniors of Brevard here on 90.3 FM. It's Wednesday afternoon. That means it's Joe Steckler Day, Helping Seniors of Brevard, right here on WEJF 90.3 FM. And Joe is on assignment today, but filling in for Joe is myself, John Harper, Kerry, Fink, and Jennifer Helin. Hi, guys, and welcome back.
Thank you. It's so good. It's so good to be here, but I keep laughing because it takes three of us to cover the seat that Joe would normally occupy. So we were talking before the break, John and Jennifer, as you know, we were talking about the basically the role of what Helping Seniors does, and particularly why it's so important in this day and time. And the first, of course, is that we operate the Senior Information Helpline, and Kim Bernard is available at that phone number, which is 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770. And it is amazing how effective. I always call us the little organization that could, because I am impressed without getting government assistance or really any outside help. We depend strictly on individuals who support the work of helping seniors and businesses who care for seniors in this area, who support the work. And we're going to talk about that car raffle and why that's an important fundraiser here in a minute. But I'm always impressed that we're able to be that effective. And the second thing is that we're able to keep up this, I would almost call it a barrage of senior information, because it really ties into the third area that is so important to helping seniors, and that's about senior advocacy. And my hope and prayer is, if one thing comes out of this COVID-19 thing that is a positive thing, it is the fact that finally people are starting to understand that we need to look after and care for our seniors. If you guys remember, and I'm going to ask you, Jennifer, to comment on this, is that one of the first things that happened was I think we led the way in this county about getting things ahead of the curve, where they started to say, let's limit access and assisted livings and nursing facilities and things like that, because we need to look after our seniors, Jennifer.
Yes, and I think, I'm not sure how everybody feels about, our governor right now, or Florida, and there's a lot of talk, but I follow this because it's what we do. I follow it closely, and I follow it through Washington, where it started, and in some of the facilities there. And I've been looking at Canada, and they're really having a problem in their facilities. And I have to say that looking all around us at the different states that have had problems, and up in Canada, Florida really was very good about setting limits. Our Agency for Healthcare Administration and our governor saying, hey, we have to protect the facilities. And they did that very early on. And within Brevard County, a lot of those facilities way back at the beginning of March said, hey, it's coming. We need to protect our residents. And they've done a phenomenal job in doing so. And I know the list just came out yesterday or the day before with the facilities that do have COVID cases. We have very few in Brevard County. And unfortunately, I think no matter what you do, you could have someone enter your facility who is completely asymptomatic and not have any, you've taken their temperature, they don't have fever, they're completely asymptomatic, but yet they've come in and they've unfortunately infected someone else. It unfortunately is going to happen. But I think we have really kept it to a bare minimum here in the county, because everyone did take it very seriously right from the beginning.
And I think that's so important, because our offices, which are, of course, according to the governor's precautionary guidance, are closed. We don't have walk-in. We're not doing walk-in, although the Senior Information Helpline is quite active, I might add. But our offices are in the Senior Resource Center of Brevard, and we're co-located over with Zon Beachside, which is right there in Indian Harbor Beach, just as you come across the O'Galley Causeway. And one of the things that is so interesting about that is I remember when the folks that operate that facility, which is kind of a state-of-the-art facility, came to us and said, "Guys, we're going to close the front doors. We would prefer if you guys would stay outside the actual facility, because where our part of the Senior Resource Center is, we have our own access, and we are actually, if you will, sort of a separate wing of that whole building. And so we have our own ingress and egress, and we don't have to participate in there." And they said, "Guys, we really would appreciate it that you guys should not be coming in here, because we want to put the safety of the residents here." And I remember at the time, Jennifer, thinking, well, this is quite advanced, because I think at the time there hadn't really been even any issues that had cropped up on American shores with this yet. And I remember thinking, like, are we going overboard about this? But clearly we were not.
And I think a lot of people were thinking that as well, because Don was one of the very first ones, to my knowledge, probably the very first one to go ahead and shut its doors. And I think people thought, wow, is this necessary? But in hindsight, it was absolutely necessary. And they did it well ahead of the curve. And, you know, hindsight being 2020, good for them, good that they did it. They were trying to protect their residents. And it's been tough on the facilities. You know, they're really trying to limit the number of people that are in their facilities. So the same people are working over and over. The residents aren't getting to see their loved ones. So they're trying to do a lot with a little, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I was going to say, in that same vein, what we have been doing to respond to the COVID-19 is we created this little idea of Monday, Wednesday, Friday, basically a video blog where we get the opportunity to talk to people around the county who are caring for seniors, and basically try to do three things. One, give an update on what's going on with us as Helping Seniors, the organization. Number two, to find out what businesses and how they're responding. What services are they able to offer? What adjustments have they made? What are the things that they can do that are helping during this time? Then connected to that, the third part of these calls is to provide tips and information. And we archive every one of those. They're all available both on our Facebook page, which is Helping Seniors of Brevard, but also on our website. And you can access it pretty fast at helpingseniors.updates.com. helpingseniors.updates.com. And so the videos are there, but also probably what is maybe even more important is that there's a list of resources. For example, Kim Bernard put together a really great list of food resources in Brevard, talking about food banks. There must be a dozen different resources on her list about where you can go in Brevard County and find food. If that's a challenge, maybe either financially or otherwise. So there's that. And even she went to the point of finding a place that feeds FIDO, meaning that if you're having trouble feeding your pets or things like that, there's actually a food bank that's able to help with that. All those kind of resources are available on this Helping Seniors Updates. We also got updates from Phil Archer, who is our state attorney. He provided some interesting information how the scammers are always trying to be just one step ahead, and he provided a list of things that people need to look out for. We also put some links in there, by the way, to Congressman Bill Posey's site. He has a pretty robust page called COVID-19 Resources, and so there's a lot of different tools there. Like if you want to know what the status of your economic relief stimulus payment is, there's a link for that. If you're a non-filer and you need to sign up for those rebate checks, how to do that. There's information on those rebate checks specifically for senior citizens. I think there's probably been some confusion as to how that works. And there's also lots of tools about applying for unemployment. There's special things that the federal government has done to enhance even the state of Florida program and things like that. There's also information about how to stay home safely and things like that. So all those links are on that Helping Seniors Update page. And I'm sure, Jennifer, you have been taking calls right and left from people asking very similar questions too at Seniors Helping Seniors at Brevard.
We have. And one of the things that I want to mention about Kim's list of resources that she personally called every single one of those to make sure because we have so much need in the county right now. There are some that are not able to help because they're just tapped out. But then there have been others that have been created, other resources that have been created specific to COVID-19. So it's a very updated list that she, reached out and talked to people. So we know that those resources are working right now. So that is a wonderful thing. And we have been trying to help Kim. I know I mentioned the last time we talked, we've been doing, we laughingly call it the ding dong ditch for some of our seniors, where we take, a Publix bag and fill it with toilet paper, paper towels, and some hand soap, run it to the door, hang it up the door handle, ring the bell, and basically run away so that we're, keeping our germs to ourselves, but delivering care packages so that the seniors have. Unfortunately, I still am flabbergasted by this. So they have toilet paper.
Yeah, that is it's amazing, and what a great testimony to the kind of care that you guys offer through Seniors Helping Seniors. And I remember asking you this, and I think we should do this on the radio program, and then we're going to switch gears and talk about the car raffle, because that is a fun topic, and we want to have some fun in the show as well. But let me ask you this about Seniors Helping Seniors, because I did ask you on the update, but let's repeat it here. What services are available? Are you able to handle if somebody calls in and says, hey, listen, we might need some help with mom at home or dad at home or in this situation? What are you able to do as Seniors Helping Seniors?
We are still taking new clients. We are doing it on a very, very careful basis. We're trying to make sure that we are not exposing anyone. We've changed a lot of things that we're doing temporarily to protect our clients. We're doing over-the-phone assessments where we would normally be there face-to-face. We are asking a lot of different questions. We are limiting one caregiver to one client. But there's still a need out there. You were talking earlier about having that plan in place. And unfortunately, COVID-19 has really brought that to the forefront, where there was no plan. Oh my gosh, my neighbor who used to help me doesn't want to go out, will not do the grocery shopping, will not help me anymore, and I don't know what to do. We've gotten those phone calls. And so we are helping still take people to the doctor's appointments that they have to go to, because those are still continuing. A lot of non-essential appointments have been canceled, but there are people that still need to get to doctor's appointments and have eye injections, and are not people who are comfortable, don't have a computer or a smartphone, so that they're not ordering online, and they want to give someone a list. We go out, do the shopping for them, and then bring it back and put it on their doorstep. So we are still taking clients. We're trying to be very careful and thoughtful about it, but we are still here to help.
Before we get into the car raffle and talk about that and the fun things associated with that, I want to remind everybody that testing for COVID, if you need a test for COVID-19, you can call the Florida Department of Health. That's health, I should say, if you're in need of a test. That phone number is 321-454-7141. 321-454-7141, or Omni Healthcare. Omni Healthcare at 321-802-5512. Again, Omni Healthcare is 321-802-5515. And if you've been in contact with anyone that may have been in contact with the COVID-19 virus, you definitely need to check that out, because seniors are the most vulnerable, as we've all come to know by now about the virus. And the things to look for are people over the age of 65, people with underlying health conditions, first responders, and if you have a prescription from a medical doctor. So it's important to keep that in mind. And Kerry and Jennifer, if I can take out one more moment here before we get into the car raffle, you were talking about food and distribution of food and things like that. State Representative Randy Fine in District 53 in Palm Bay has an event coming up this Saturday at his office at 2539 Palm Bay Road Northeast. It starts at 10 a.m. and it will run until they run out of food. And that's Farm Share, free food. It's a distribution event right there at his office this Saturday at 10 a.m., 2539 Palm Bay Road Northeast. Kerry?
No, this
and
is
John,
good.
I think he also donated his salary this time around, didn't he, to that farm
Yes.
share?
Yes, he did. In fact, we had an interview with him talking about that. He donated his entire April legislative salary to help out Farm Share with their free food distribution event. So, job well done by State Representative Randy Fine. We appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
And so actually just have a little bit of, I guess I would call it breaking news. This is just in from Kim Bernard. She literally just had flashed this across. She'd been working with a caller who was trying to determine an update on the checks for seniors. So she had been careful to work that through all the different channels and just literally just reporting back that she heard back from Bill Posey's office. And according to Cheryl Moore, who's the director of community relations, the checks will be deposited starting at the end of next week. And so, again, that's very typical of the kind of calls we get on the senior helping seniors information helpline. Is they can just run the gamut of everything. And that's one of the reasons why the Helping Seniors organization is so important. And people, I know I was probably one of those typical people who just assumed every nonprofit ran on government grants or things like that. And as we started to work with Joe, we kind of all learned that no, there is a significant side of a nonprofit's work that has to do with fundraising, because quite frankly, if we don't fundraise, we don't survive. And so the very availability of the services like the Senior Information Helpline, or the fact that we're able to get as much media into the marketplace as we do, is only because a group of businesses have said, listen, we need to get behind Joe and help carry some of this load so this thing can get done. And I'm talking about businesses of all kinds, the range of sponsors, the people who have been with Joe, and I mean for years, going back to Alzheimer's days and things like that, is people like Dr. Lee Sheldon, who is very, very well-respected and noted periodontist in the area. In fact, was doing a Helping Seniors update with him last week. And he said, did you know, he said, I think I did one of the first TV shows with Joe going back all those years ago, because I guess Dr. Sheldon at that time had a TV show, and he invited Joe to come on and talk about the charity work Joe was doing. They struck up a friendship, sort of like you, John Harper, and Joe have done over all these years, and you've always been able to keep advancing the cause of seniors. But also people like Bill Johnson. Bill is a board-certified elder law attorney. He's been in Joe's corner probably since day one. The I Institute is another great example of that. But it's businesses like that. It's businesses like Jennifer Helin's Seniors Helping Seniors in Brevard, who make it possible for helping seniors to continue on. And then if Joe was able to be on the radio with us today, he would tell you too, on his end, he's developed a list of individuals over the years who really do care about this work and are helping to support it. And we've supplemented that along the way with some important tools. And one of the best tools is the fact that this goes back to something Joe established back in the Brevard Alzheimer's days. He and AJ Hires of the car dealer fame, Boniface Hires. I mean, AJ has probably one of every car dealer type that matters, if you will. And they've gone back together for years on this idea of AJ working to get a car to the charity so that the charity can then use the proceeds from raffling that car, and that helps us keep going. So I don't know, does somebody want to grab and tell a little bit about this year's car raffle, and then we'll come back and talk about where it's all headed.
So I've been involved with the car raffle for the last couple of years, helping set it up and take the cars, as John has, ferry cars with us too from different events and place to place. So this year we actually have 4 different cars that the winner can choose from. We have a Camaro, we have a Challenger, we have a Kia Sportage, and then we have the ever popular Mazda Miata. So they're 4 beautiful cars. Of course, the Miata gets a lot of looks because it's adorable, but the Challenger and the Camaro, some nice muscle cars. I've gotten the opportunity to drive all 4 this year before COVID started. A lot of fun to drive. Challenger's probably still my favorite. But one of those lucky winners, or the lucky winner is going to choose one of those cars. And the event is something that we always look forward to because it's a big party. And I'm so glad that we didn't cancel it. We've been able to postpone it so that when this is all over, we can all get together at the American Muscle Car Museum. We will pull the lucky winner then, but you get to go around and look at the amazing cars that Mark has at that museum. We always have food, beverages. It's a great night out. So if nothing else, we have a lot of people who come up and say, I want to win the car, but I want to go to the Muscle Car Museum.
You know, Jennifer, what you're saying is so on point because, you know, a lot of people, they just say, listen, I want to buy my ticket. And by the way, one ticket is $25, or you can get 5 tickets for $100. And that's a donation to the Helping Seniors organization. You can get those tickets actually a number of different ways. You can go online, helpingsseniorscarraffle.com, helpingsseniorscarraffle.com. So literally right in the comfort of your home, you can safely and perfectly go today and get your Helping Seniors Car Raffle tickets online. You can also call the Senior Information Helpline at 321-473-7770, 321-473-7770, and Kim will be happy to get you set up on that. Also, there are businesses that are open. I saw an announcement from Boniface Hires Kia that said they are, in fact, open for business. They have sanitized everything, and they will do everything to make sure that all precautions are followed so that you can acquire your car safely. But you can also acquire your Helping Seniors Car Raffle tickets at any of the Boniface Hires dealerships. So that means you could pop by the Dodge Chrysler Jeep store in Merritt Island, the Kia store, the Mazda dealership, the Chevrolet dealership right there on US 1, and get your tickets in person and check out those beautiful cars. But the main point is get your tickets and get involved in this because, number one, it helps keep the Helping Seniors organization moving forward. Number two, you might win one of those beautiful new cars, brand new cars that Jennifer was speaking about. But number three, no matter what the case, you will have a great time at Mark Pylock's Muscle Car Museum. And John, I was going to get you as a real radio media guy to kind of set the picture for somebody who hasn't been out there, what kind of a night this thing really is when it comes to pass.
It's a magnificent night, probably one of the best that anybody could experience here on the Space Coast without a rocket going up. It is magnificent being there inside the Muscle Car Museum with the hundreds of cars, vintage cars, some cars that are not all that old, but nonetheless great to look at. It's a real treat, and for anyone who wants to experience the sights and sounds of the Muscle Car Museum, Kerry and Jennifer, they definitely need to come out to our event when we get that rescheduled again. And finally, Kerry and Jennifer, I wanted to mention this, that when it comes to seniors, need is a growth industry. There's a lot of cash for many causes out there, but never enough for seniors, helping seniors of Brevard. And that's why when the car raffle comes up again, it's only not just for fun. It's out of a major fundraising event that helps keep seniors of Brevard in operation. So that's why it's so important. But again, Kerry, Fink, and Jennifer Helin, can't stress enough, it's a wonderful event, great food, great opportunity to take photos in front of some of the vintage cars, and I highly recommend it. Probably the only person with a collection as good as this one is Jay Leno and Jay Leno's Garage. So that's the type of caliber that you're dealing with at the Muscle Car Museum, Kerry.
It is absolutely an amazing thing. And even if you aren't an expert in cars, which I am certainly not, you walk in and you see this collection that Mark Pylock has amassed, and I mean, it is just almost jaw-dropping because these cars are in the absolute tip-top shape. There are many cars that they literally acquired straight from the showroom floor. I mean, going back in the 70s, and these cars have no like 8 miles on them. They've never even been on the street, and every single one of those cars will run. So we're almost out of time, but Jennifer, I just wanted to thank you for being on the radio show with us today. Thank you for doing the work that you do, both with Seniors Helping Seniors, but also with Helping Seniors. And John Harper, you as well. It's really good to have good comrades that we work together and we advocate for seniors in our county. So on behalf of Joe Steckler and the entire team here, it's just been a pleasure having you guys and being able to sit in the chair for Joe, and look forward to having him back on the show next week. But I hope you have a great, safe, happy, enjoyable Getting Your Helping Seniors car raffle tickets week ahead.
Absolutely. And real quickly, Kerry, we've got about 30 seconds. Give me that email address for the car raffle tickets.
So you can go to helpingseniors.carraffle.com, helpingseniors.carraffle.com.
All right, Kerry, Fink, thanks so much. And that's going to do it for this Wednesday edition of Helping Seniors of Brevard.